All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Josh,
I'm Tomas.
and we're going to be streaming our Four Horsemen seasonal tournament for Pokemon trading card game. Yeah.
All right,
Got some good decks out there. Got the new set playing today.
Yep, Guardians Rising did become legal yesterday, and so this is our first opportunity to really get a good look into what the future meta is going to be.
All right, so let's look down there, see what we got with them.
All right. Looks like they are all set up.
All right. Here we go.
Are they paying attention? Alright. Looks like they are going. On our left, we have Brian Strakel playing, I believe, Sylveon. And on our right, we have Jay Blanks, I think, also playing Sylveon. It looks like Brian was able to get 5 mulligans. The quad Sylveon is a very interesting matchup and will lead to lots of mulligans. Already, Brian's able to attach the energy, checking his deck, and he's got his first Sylveon out. Yesterday I was playing this matchup, me and Brian, and it's a lot of fun. It's not the easiest matchup, and hopefully we get to see some good matches. Now we are doing best of 3 with a 50 round time limit, and this is round 2. We were unfortunately missed round 1. And Brian plays the Hex Maniac. So what the Hex Maniacs will do is it means that Jordan will not be able to this turn evolve into Sylveon, which is huge. Because that means he can't start magically using Magical Ribbon, and theoretically he can get donked if Brian can get a DCE out.
Now, just for people that might not know, and myself included, who is not familiar with the new set yet, what does Magical Ribbon do?
Alright, so Sylveon is a Stage 1 Pokemon. It, for 1 Fairy Energy, you are allowed to search your deck for 3 cards. Any 3 cards. Doesn't matter, trainers, Pokemon, anything. And so what you do is at the end of every turn, you just search for 3 cards, and then you get a lot of, control type cards like Team Flare Grunts, Crushing Hammers, Team Rocket's Handiwork, things like that to really slow your opponent down. As we can see, Jordan was unable to get out his turn 1 Sylveon because of the Hex Maniac, and so all he did was just hit double heads on the Team Rocket's Handiwork to discard 4 cards from Brian's deck. The matchup will be very interesting. If he attaches his turn, he will not be able to get the donk on Jordan, but still he's in a very good position, having 2 Sylveons already with energy.
Let's see what he can pull off. All right, we've got another Eevee out there.
Let's see what he does. Now, the deck, as you can see in his hand, he does run Puzzles of Times to recover items and trainers, whatever he needs. Yep, there we go. It goes for the Team Rocket's Handiwork. Flip 2 coins, and for every heads, you discard 2 cards from your opponent's deck.
All right, that's 2 off the top.
Yep, 2 off the top.
He's got, Ultra Ball and an N.
Is that an Ultra Ball?
It looked like the gold Ultra Ball.
It might be a Max Elixir. I don't think...
Oh, I do see Max. That's probably,
yeah.
I think you're correct.
So I believe it's a Max Elixir, which actually is very important in this matchup because Sylveon's second attack, I forget what it's called, but it's for a Fairy and double colorless, and you do 110 damage. Nothing crazy, but in this matchup, it can lead to some quick KOs on your opponent. Alright, Jordan attaches the Fairy Energy. He's going to go searching for the Sylveon. And also, just for reference, Sylveon's GX move, which is... forget the name. See, that's the problem with the new set. I have no idea the name of all the attacks. But the GX attack is you get to choose 2 of your opponent's Pokemon on their bench and return them to their hand. All cards, you know, even the Pokemon and all the energy. It's really good at slowing your opponent down, and it can really clump up their hand. We see that both Brian and Jordan went for the magical ribbon just to grab 3 cards. Brian has his 3rd Sylveon out. That's very quick. A lot of times you'll see that it ends up being you'll have like 1 Sylveon, and that's it. 1, maybe 2. Brian attaches the DCE and discards the DCE from... Oh, wow, he discards both energies from Jordan's from Jordan's Sylveon. So now Jordan will have to attach just to Magical Ribbon, and he top decks it. We're good. Jordan Max Potion, or not Max Elixirs. Is it Max Potion? Yeah, Max Potion. I'm blanking here. But he heals all the damage off of his Sylveon and then attaches. Now this is something that we concocted last night. It is actually a lot of fun. So you play red card, which your opponent shuffles their hand into their deck and they draw 4 cards. And then you play a Stadium, and then you play Delinquent, so that your opponent has to discard 3 cards from their hand.
Actually, I think red card you just discard till you have...
Nope,
4.
it's
shuffle?
Yep, it's shuffle until you have 4. So as you can see...
Shows what I know.
Yeah. So Jay Blanks was able to discard 2 fairy energies and Brian's red card. Now, I do believe the only card he has left in his hand is an N, luckily. So he's not in too bad of a situation, because a lot of times you'll just end up with utter garbage, and you have nothing you can do. Looks like Jordan went for... Yeah, Jordan Magical Ribbon, but Brian just N, so it doesn't really matter what Jordan wanted. So this matchup is a lot of back and forths. It's a lot of resource management. It's actually, despite the fact that it's just, you know, purely discard energy and maybe once in a while attack, it's a very complicated deck. So let's see. Jordan looks like he has a Switch, a Crushing Hammer, and a Lysander. I think that's what I saw. A couple other things. All right then. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're figuring them out.
I'm working on it.
We'll soon have a little scoreboard at the bottom with everything. So it looks like Brian does 110 damage to Jordan's Sylveon. So Jordan goes for the Crushing Hammer. That is a card that I originally kept in my Sylveon, and so did Brian, but he and I both kind of agreed that the card's a little bit too inconsistent. But as you can see, considering he flipped heads and he discarded another energy with Team Flagrant, Brian has lost 2 energies in 1 turn, which is huge. Now Brian, I think he just top decked that fairy energy, so yeah, these decks usually run around 10 to 12 energies, so you hopefully won't run out too quickly. But in this matchup, especially with the red card Delinquent combo, you can really get messed up and end up losing a lot of valuable resources. Jordan goes for the Magical Ribbon, taking out some 3 cards, no idea what they are. Because they are just take 3 cards from your deck, doesn't have any preference whether it's trainers or Pokemon, you do not have to reveal them, which means you can kind of do a little psychological game. You know, you can kind of bait your opponent to think, oh, I'm going to be grabbing energies, when instead you're actually grabbing a Steven, which will get you the energy. There's a fine line, and you know, it's a lot of mind games. Brian once again ends to make sure that Jordan doesn't get the cards that he wants, hopefully. Now, let's see. Brian has 3 fairy energies, a single puzzle, Lysander, and a VS Seeker. Not the best. The VS Seekers, especially in this matchup, you want to save them. They are very valuable. You have so many ways to recover your other items that there's you don't have to worry about too much about your energies and stuff like that. But VS Seekers are very important. So it looks like Jordan once again goes for the red card combo. He uses double puzzle of time to grab a red card and a max potion. Brian shuffling his hand in and drawing 4. Now, does Jordan have the rest of the combo? It does not look like he does. Let's see. He has energies, max potion, double colorless, and a team flare. Alright. So in this scenario, Jordan did use the red card. Instead of going for the red card delinquent combo, he just went to basically a kind of like an N. He made his opponent shuffle his hand in and only draw 4, which means that... Why does Brian have... Oh, Brian drew for his turn. Okay. So Jordan's grabbing his 3 cards. Unfortunately, this match is, while it's very difficult and can be very fun to watch, it's also can also be very boring, as it's, every turn is discard an energy, pass, search 3 cards. So Brian goes for the Steven this turn, which lets you get a supporter and a energy from your deck. And he chooses to grab this Team Skull, Team Skull Grunt. No, it does not look like Jordan has any energies in his hand. So he can't use it this turn, but he might be looking to use it next turn. Then he magical ribbons. Jordan's going with another Crushing Hammer. I think he's hit all... He's either played 2 or 3, which however many he played, he's hit all of them. So that's not the best situation for Brian, because those cards are very important.
Incredibly important.
Looks like... Who? I think Jay? End? Yeah, he did. He VS Seekered an end. And... Now they flipped over Jay's GX token. Oh, yep. So, he used the Sylveon's GX attack, which takes 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon and returns them to their hand. So, let's see. What is his plan with that? Maybe he's planning to Team Skullgrunt to try to see, try to get rid of the energy that Brian just had to put into his hand, or he just wanted to make sure that he didn't have multiple Sylveons. But Brian does discard the DCE so that Jordan will have to attach another one in order to use the second attack for 110 damage. And then he just magical ribbons. Jordan has several Team Flare Grunts in his hand. He attaches another one of his fairy energies to his Sylveon, and then he ends. Yeah, whenever you're playing Sylveon, you're going to be shuffling your deck a lot, because every turn that you magical ribbon, you're going to search your 3 cards and then shuffle. But then with N, because your opponent doesn't want you to keep those cards that you just chose, they're going to be playing lots of N, so it's lots of shuffling, which in a best of 3 scenario can actually be difficult. It's kind of like whoever wins round 1 will probably win the best of 3, because you more likely than not will not go through all 3 games. And do we have... Are we timing?
Yeah, I have track of the time.
Okay, we have the time up on here. Sorry we don't have it on the screen.
Usually we like to have it. We're experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties today.
Yeah, they left us here by ourselves.
So, well, we're making the most of it.
Yeah.
I'll keep track of the time, but for the future we'll have that out.
Yep.
It just seems to be just something wonky with it today.
Who knows? So let's see. Brian does have at least one of his Sylveons back out, and he has an Eevee also out. Jordan has 2 of his Sylveons out with the active one with 2 fairy energies. He might just be going for attach 3 energies and do 110. Because it gets to the point late game that if you keep on taking 3 cards out of your deck, you're just going to deck yourself out. Brian, VS Seekers for something. What is he going for? Looks like he might be looking into a Team Rocket's Handiwork or a Team Flare Grunt. Both of those are good options. They're really good at disruption. And if you hit double heads on the Team Rocket's Handiwork, that is 4 cards that are gone, but he chooses the N. So both of them are going to shuffle their hands back in. Now neither one of them has taken any prize cards. Let's see. Now Brian does have an energy on the active, so he'll most likely use Magical Ribbon at the end of his turn. I doubt he'll be going for his second attack, because I believe he only runs 1 DCE, and I think it was discarded earlier. At least I haven't seen it, and he probably would have grabbed it earlier if he could have. He's going for the double puzzle. He might want to grab... Yeah, I agree with the VS Seeker. VS Seeker is very good in this matchup, and maybe the DCE. Or he could go for the spicy red card again, since he wasn't able to use it earlier.
Red hot and spicy.
Oh yeah. Also, he chooses to go with the double colors and the red card. So, I don't know how I feel about that play, because while reducing your opponent's hand to 4 cards is nice, he did just N. So it's not like Jay had the cards that he was looking for or anything. So I don't know if that was the best play, maybe saving that red card for a delinquent combo. Alright. And just like that, Jay discards 2 more energies with an Enhanced Hammer and a Team Flare Grunt. At this point, I don't think Brian can get that double colorless back because of the... Well, he has at least 1 puzzle in hand. I don't see the other one. Jordan goes for the Magical Ribbon. At this point, a Max Potion in this scenario is not all that useful, because if he Max Potions, he loses both of those energies, which is a huge loss for him. And with Brian not having his only DCE, that means he would have to either... Ooh, and he hits double heads. That's 4 cards. Let's see what we get out of that. VS Seeker, Hex, Silent Lab, and something else. Thanks, Jay. Really appreciated showing us the cards, you know. Helping us streamers out.
We didn't want to see that anyway.
Yeah, those aren't important. Alright, so your Magical Ribbons to search for 3 cards. In this matchup, the Silent Lab is somewhat useful. You can prevent your opponent from using Energy Evolution Eevee. Oh, and so Jay does use the Max Elixir to discard those 2 energies.
Potion.
I keep on doing that. I don't
We've got
know
both. It's an easy mistake. Max Elixir was so prevalent this past set.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Max Elixir was huge. So Jay goes for the Team Skull Grunt. Nope, Flare Grunt. Skull Grunt.
Skull Grunt, there we go.
There's too many bad
too
guy
many grunts,
teams. Yeah.
too many bad guys. Too many cards.
But it looks like Brian did not have any energies, so didn't really do much. Though it's very important, especially in this matchup, to keep in mind what your opponent has in his hand. See what they're setting up to possibly do. Let's see. So Brian does have the 2 puzzles of times in hand. And he goes for the Team Skull Grunt, discarding the 1 fairy energy. Taking a look in his hand, we see a Steven, a Lysander, a Switch.
Got those double puzzles in hand.
Yeah, the double puzzles is big. But the question is, do you want to use them now to get your energy, your DCE and something else back, or do you want to save it for stuff like VS Seekers? I think at this point, Brian would have to take a look at Jordan's discard, see how many VS Seekers and how many Flare Grunts are gone. Because he doesn't want to get the DCE back only for it to be discarded the next turn. That would be a waste of double puzzle. Let's see, Brian's deck. I can't even tell. Okay, so that's his deck. Has around 20-ish cards. But Jordan's going for the Team Rocket's handiwork again. One heads.
And he gets the 1.
So loses a team Flagrant. That's a big loss. You don't want to be losing those supporters for no good reason. Things you want to see getting discarded from your own deck is like stuff like your parallel cities or any of the other stadiums that you run. Also, there's stuff like, I know Brian runs, I think he runs an Olympia and a couple other like techie cards.
Brock's.
Yeah, the Brock's Grit. That card is really nice because he's just going to put 6 energies back into his deck. Now, they do have to be basic, so he can't throw that DCE back in. Now, the card does say you can search, you can also throw back in Pokemon, but at this point he has 2 Sylveons and 1 Eevee. There's no reason for him to be grabbing Pokemon. So he adds 6 more cards to a deck, which means he won't be decking out as quickly. Let's see. Evolve his final Eevee into a Sylveon. I believe he only runs 3 Sylveons, so he won't be running into. And with a discarded Eevee, he doesn't need to worry about getting more dead cards into his hand. That deck is like all energies. Oh my goodness. So it looks like he grabbed a handiwork, a flare, and something else. Oh, so Jay went for the handiwork again, discarding 4 cards, and that is
3 energies and a delinquent.
3 energies and a delinquent. So the energies suck. That's just not a good thing to be losing. The delinquent, I think, is okay, because at this point, well, he does have an energy in hand, or not an energy, a stadium in hand, and discarding cards would have been pretty nice. I mean, look at Jordan's hand. Like, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think.
Yeah, about 8 or 9. No.
Oh, Brian gets the double tails on the handiwork. That's real bad because he used that VS Seeker for it. So that was, a wasted supporter and a wasted VS Seeker. He's going to go for the magical ribbon. Yeah, his deck is, I think, energies, parallel city, and 1 max potion. So it looks like he chooses to grab nothing. I mean, he doesn't really need to grab anything. He has the energy, or I believe he has the energy in hand.
No, he just attached it that turn.
Okay, so it looks like he's... Alright, so Jay's going... Looks like he's planning on attacking.
Not before an N.
So with the N... So I agree with this play, because while Brian didn't get any cards from his deck, it kind of reveals that basically he had everything he needed in hand.
True.
So with the end and make sure that, it reduces the number of cards in hand, and also Brian might draw into, the bad cards like the Parallel City. So Jay goes with the second attack, which is 110. I can look this stuff up. So I'm not just like,
Bring up a little reference on there.
Yeah, we should get like little pictures that we put over.
Would be a good addition.
Let's see.
If I wasn't afraid to make our situation worse, I might try and figure out how to pull that up.
Yeah. So it looks like he maxed potion, discarding the 2 energies. He's going for the handiwork. Now let's see. Will he get...
Oh, he got the double.
Double heads.
Makes up for his double tails.
So it looks like... Yeah,
two
that's
cards.
2 cards.
Brian looks like he still has...
He has a little bit
left in
more.
there.
Yeah, nothing crazy, but...
In which
definitely
about
more than
6
2.
prizes left each. He may very well deck him out.
Yep. And Brian,
getting those double puzzles. He's got the...
double puzzle's huge. Because that means he can, even if he doesn't have VS Seekers, he can go back and grab those Team Rockets. Jay goes with the very good play of going for the Brock's Grit. Make sure he doesn't have, 2 cards in deck. Okay, the second attack for Sylveon's Fairy Wind for 110.
Gotcha. Even with 4 in the deck, he needs to have more than that if he pulls off another double heads on a...
Oh, was he only able to grab the 4? How many
No,
energies?
he ended up getting his energies.
Okay.
I'm just saying it was smart to do that because even 4 cards left in the deck would be scary with this.
Now, actually, a big part of this matchup is those prize cards. Because generally, you're not going to be taking too many prize cards. You may take 1 or 2, but a lot of times you don't.
There's only 4 cards in his hand.
He has 4. Ooh, yeah, you're right.
If he gets down lower, an N might also do the trick for him.
Yeah. Jay has to be really careful with what he plays. Anything that isn't necessary shouldn't be played. Now, luckily, his hand is actually kind of garbage, so it looks like he won't even be playing anything anyways.
Oh, lucky him.
Now, one thing I think... It all depends on how many max potions Brian has left in his deck. I know he has at least 1. Well, at this point, maybe even letting Jordan take a couple prizes in exchange for you discarding his cards is worth it. Looks like he's eyeing up the red card. But he decides to go with a max potion and an energy.
Interesting.
So, yeah, Brian's decided to, play the safer route. Make sure that his Sylveon doesn't have too much damage on it, that it can't be knocked out next turn, and still being able to Magical Ribbon. Now,
and by my count, they have been playing for about 33 minutes now, maybe 32 minutes.
Yep, that
They've
sounds...
About 17, 18 minutes left in their match, and this is still only game 1.
Yep, so this is what I was talking about earlier. It's whoever wins game 1. Now, in other matchup like Sylveon versus, say Greninja or Garbodor or something like that, the matches won't last as long just because, it's not this. But this matchup it takes a long time. Brian doesn't look like he has many cards either. Alright, so Jake goes to the Lysander and puts it on the Eevee the Sylveon without any energies. Brian does have 2 in his hand, but at this point, yep, I agree with that.
Just let him have it.
Yeah, he can take the Sylveon, take your 2 prizes. At this point, you need
Okay. Stall him out a little bit longer.
Yep, so it looks like Brian's just going for the stall game. He doesn't really need to be drawing any cards from his deck because it's probably mostly energies and stadiums. So he's just stalling Jay out and, making...
He's got 3 cards left in his deck.
3 cards left.
Brian looks like he definitely has more than that.
Yeah.
So just kind of taking it slow.
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like Jay just used Fairy Wind for 110. That's it. Now Brian is eyeing up either a Skull Grunt or an Olympia. The Olympia will let him retreat and heal 30. So it looks like that's what he's choosing to do.
Stall him out a little bit longer.
Yep.
Smart.
And he's attaching. So he's putting Jay in this situation where Jay has to decide whether he wants to put 110 on the Sylveon, on Brian Sylveon, or does he want to max elixir, or not max elixir, max potion, and discard the 3 energies. If he does discard the 3 energies, he would be stuck in the active and not in a good situation. But he decides to go with the... Yep, he went with the doing the Fairy Wind for 110. Brian uses the Skull Grunt to discard the 1 energy that Jay had in
Looks
hand.
like Brian has 3 cards left.
3 or 4? I can't tell. Now the... I think...
Yep, there are 3 down there.
I think his best option might be to take the knockout. Now he does see, let's see, 2 VS Seekers, 3 VS Seekers, 4.
4.
Okay, so
All
all
right.
4 is... There's nothing really in his prizes that I can think of right now that's really important. He has gone through all 4 of his puzzles, all 4 of his VS Seekers. He might be able to find like a supporter or 2 that'd be useful.
All right, he's going for the
But
knockout.
He goes for the knockout. He does grab a Skull Grunt.
Flare
Or a Flare
Grunt.
Grunt.
Too many grunts.
Yeah, there's too many grunts.
And the return knockout.
Yep. Now it's a slugfest.
All right, let's see what we've got attached there. Flare Grunt.
I believe there's... I
There's
don't...
not a lot he can do.
I think Jay's stuck. I think Jay...
Unless he's got an in there somewhere.
So he has the energy.
Oh, he had double puzzle. All right.
If he needs to grab that Brock's grit.
The Brock, yeah, that would be smart. That would be incredibly smart.
I think that would secure him the win. Okay, so he's...
Oh, he's going to try and
Yep.
just deck him out.
So he's going... So this turn he's probably going to Brock's grit to get the 6 energies back into his deck.
He better do that,
Oh, yeah.
otherwise he loses.
That is true. So yep, that's what he's going to go for. Now let's see if he shuffles. Oof. Might be stacking his deck to make sure the energy's on top. So yep, so he Brock's grits, putting 6 more cards back into his deck, and then he puts 110 on Brian Sylveon. Now, I think Brian loses.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything left for him to do. I think he used all his resources, and Jordan just, like, held on by the skin of his teeth.
Yes. Saving those 2, yep.
And
So it
that
looks
is-
like Brian is scooping, and so that's the end of round 1 with Jay
or
Blank.
game 1.
Yeah, sorry,
Yes.
round 1 of... Sorry. Game 1 of round 2.
There we go, and with about just over 12 minutes remaining, I don't know if we're going to see an end to game 2.
The only way I can see an end is if one of them is unable to evolve their Sylveon, like say they get the Eevee out and they just don't have an energy, or they Hex Maniac, something like that, and then someone gets a donk. That's...
Gotta hope for the donk. That's really Brian's only...
Yeah. There's really not much Brian can do in this situation. There's no way that he can control Jay and, get rid of all his resources in, 12 minutes?
12 minutes exactly right now.
So yeah, with 12 minutes remaining, there's not much he can do. Both shuffling up. I think they're both basically realize there's not much that Brian can do. But it's always good to go for it. Never want to surrender. Never show mercy. Sylveon, in my opinion, is... I don't know if it's the best deck right now. It's the best deck I think that has come out of Guardians Rising. Because while Garbodor is really good, there's ways to play around it. You hold your resources. You make sure you're not discarding your items. And for those who don't know, the Garbodor has an attack for 1 psychic energy called Trash Avalanche. And I believe it's 20 damage for every item card in your opponent's discard.
Mm-hmm.
And now with decks that run currently with VS Seekers, Trainer Mails, Ultra Balls, all that stuff, you generally run around 16 and up item cards. And item cards are more likely early game cards, except for like your VS Seekers. But like, you want to use your Trainer's Mails quickly. You want to use your Ultra Balls quickly to make sure you set up.
Get everything out you need, so you just blow through those resources. And before, that wasn't a big issue because you wanted to get through all of your items before somebody set up Vileplume and set you in item lock.
So it's a whole new mentality. It's literally one card has changed the way that you have to play your deck. Now, of course, you go into a matchup playing differently, but especially going in blind, you never know what you're going to run into. Now, with this matchup, they might just be mulliganing till
for the next
time.
10 minutes.
Yeah. With 4 basics, the number is really bad. You usually mulligan like 2 or 3 times minimum. That's why I've seen some variations. Like, for example, my Sylveon deck, which mine's a little bit more of a cheese style. Like, it runs a Bunnelby. So for the mirror matchup, it's really good because you can start either discarding your opponent's cards so that they run out of resources, or what I really like to do is return my resources. So, you can double Rotiller and grab 2 puzzle times and throw them back in your deck. That's pretty big, especially in this matchup. Looks like Brian was able to get a basic, and so was... There we go.
Oh, all right. So with just over 9 minutes left in their round, we will begin Game 2 with a bunch of EVs.
They're starting EVs. I didn't see that one coming. Brian attaches to grab the Sylveon from his deck. I think considering Jordan already has his... Yep, I think this game's over. Like, not to discount Brian in any way, but Jay has... Unless there's no Sylveons in his deck.
Oh, man, can you imagine? Oh,
there's one. Now, he does have one in hand, so he can't evolve the other one, but... if he had missed that would have been huge. But it looks like now he's just going to Magical Ribbon. But at this point, I think there's nothing Brian can do. He can't turn 1 donk Jay. And even if you were to get rid of the first Sylveon, Jay's going to have another Sylveon next turn. And with the attacks, it takes a minimum of 2 turns to get rid of a Sylveon.
So unless he's just chipping away every turn for the next 8 minutes, I don't think he's got a prayer.
He would have had to have attached the DCE this turn. He goes for the Crushing Hammer, and...
he's showing us. All right. Special symbol's a 6.
Yeah. A lot of those are... Pokemon's pretty consistent. Generally, the symbol is 6. But, like, for example, I got a dice from a Pokemon event that the special symbol is 1.
Yeah. And I actually prefer that. Because it's 1 symbol, so it's 1. A lot of them I've seen, but Pokemon, they like to do symbol on the 6.
And I agree with you. The symbol being 1 makes more sense, but it's just the consistency. Because a lot of times, people use dice from the Elite Trainer boxes, which it comes with I think like 6 of the small ones and 1 of the big ones. So basically all you need. And so they use that, and they're color coded and everything. So it works out well. But, then you run into times you're just like, is that a 6 or a 1? And you gotta, ask. Yeah. Jordan has... So, looks like Brian red-carded him. And Jay has double puzzle, field blower, and something else. Brian's going for
It's like a max.
Yeah, he's just...
double colorless.
I think he grabbed double colorless. Just doing, typical... What is the attack called? I'm already blanking on it.
Fairy Wind?
Well, that's the second attack. Magical Ribbon. That's the first attack.
We've been talking about it,
I know.
the whole match.
So Jay decides to retreat. Double puzzle. I think he's going for pure memes right now. He already attached his turn. Don't know what's going on.
Oh, he's calling it. Yep, there he goes.
Looks like... Yeah, so Jordan tried to attach again, but let's see. Brian doesn't have the DCE, but he does have 3 energies attached. Ooh! Did Jay throw the game? He might have. Oh, that was.
He went for the mean plays.
Yeah.
And
almost got
he's going to pay for it. Maybe. He might pay for it.
I mean, he was able to top deck the energy, you know, luck of the draw. But still, has currently a field blower in hand and is grabbing 3 things with magical ribbon. Brian could take this back.
He could turn this around, end it with a tie.
That would be impressive. But then again, it would have been all Jay's fault for, just
punching
it.
Trying to pull off some shenanigans.
I like the attach to the active Sylveon. Make sure that if Jay goes for a Flare Grunt, the next turn he'll still be able to attack without worrying about having energies in hand.
Alright, we're just under 5 minutes left.
Double puzzle.
He's going to go for the...
I think he's going to go for the
hammer?
Hammer and the... Oh, so that's the better play. So he's going to red card Jay to bring him back down to 4 cards. And then probably will use the Skull Grunt to discard any energies he has in hand. Brian might win this.
Could you imagine? He's got 4 minutes left. I think he could do it.
He really could.
Oh.
So no energies in hand.
Not a basic either.
But the N.
The N could change things up.
Now Jay has no way of discarding energy. Is able to get a stadium.
That's not going to do anything.
So he's going for the N. Now, it's highly unlikely. Jay only runs 4 EVs, and one of them's already been knocked out. So he has to hit either an EV or a max potion. Anything else, and he loses. Now, he does have 6 cards to draw it, but the numbers are definitely not in his favor. There's an EV. And a max
potion, so he could stall a little bit longer.
And Brian's hand is horrible. I think he had 3 stadiums, and I see 3 stadiums, an EV, and something else. But
3 stadiums, 3 minutes. I don't know. Oh, all right.
So,
and again. Wait, so did he not max potion?
He did not.
Interesting.
I think he wanted to go for the magical ribbon.
Oh, okay.
To start searching cards because he didn't have an energy in hand.
Then the N was a fantastic play.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what he's got. Oh, some flares. Olympia. All right.
Now I don't think on Jay's part that was a bad play. I think in this scenario it was decent enough. But now he's back into a situation, but he does have the energy. Brian is fighting. He's fighting it as hard as he can. But I don't think there's much he can do.
2 minutes remaining. Can Brian pull the tie?
So Jay goes with the Lysander to bring out the Eevee with no energy.
But he does have the Olympia in hand.
He has the Olympia in hand. So I think right now you just go
and if he can get it down to the +3, I think Brian could pull it off as long as Jordan doesn't have any more Pokemon in there. He's checking his deck right now.
So yeah, Jay's going for Magical Ribbon for this
I have
turn.
not seen an Eevee.
You might not have another one.
I don't see any other Pokemon in there.
I mean, theoretically, or not theoretically, he's gone through 3 because 2 have been knocked out.
One's on the field. The other one may be prized.
So I think Brian just. Oh. So Brian.
Olympia, all right.
Yeah, I think that's all he could do.
Let's see.
So
I don't think
Jay
he's got
has-
anything.
He has a DCE, which won't help him. Nope. So the play, I like that. Reduce his hand to 4. But I believe the play, he has a Lysander and a DCE. So what he's going to do is going to Lysander out that other Eevee, or the Sylveon, and then he's going to use the Sylveon GX's attack to bounce the one with 4 energy back into his hand.
Well, it seems he's already. He has
So
his
so he
GX
retreated, and then
Oh.
yeah, he didn't flip it over from last turn.
Okay.
Or last game. So there you go.
All right.
And Brian wins!
Oh my gosh! With 13 seconds left in the game.
Oh my god!
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you can just go ahead and tell them.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay.
So
That was.
what a game 2. Jay Blanks had it, and then he punted it. Oh, camera's a little off-centered. All right, there we go. So Jay had it in his hand. He won game 1. He, all he had to do was not do what he did, and he would have been fine.
Went for the shenanigans and came back to bite him in the butt.
Yeah, but a tie's just bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than a loss, but I mean, Jay could have come out of there with a win.
Yeah, he could have easily just walked out with a win. They were both 1-0, so he would have been 2-0 at this point, but now they're both 1-1.
1-0-1.
1-0-1, yeah, that's it. So they are. That was a fun match.
It's just a lesson. Don't get too cocky.
No mercy.
Don't try any shenanigans.
Yeah.
Play like your life depended on it.
Yeah.
Because Brian definitely did in that match.
Oh, yeah. Brian
he went all
believed.
for it. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, get round 3 set up, and we'll be right back.
All right.
All right, and we are back.
So we're moving on to round 3. This round is going to be Jay Blanks again versus Dane Lumen. Both of them good players. So let's go down. And I think they might have started without us.
And knowing them, probably. All right,
All
it looks like
They have.
they have a... All right, let's see.
So it looks like we have Jay Blanks on the right with Dane Lumen on the left. Dane looks to be playing some sort of Gardevoir deck. Uses the Fairy Garden to retreat the active Hoopa. Because, you never want to start Hoopa. That is not fun. Dane discards 2 energies with his Ultra Ball. So he's definitely playing Gardevoir. It looks like he might be playing the Brilliant Arrow Gardevoir with a combination, maybe Xerneas Break. He goes for the full art Tapu Lele. So nice. And he grabs a Lily.
Tapu Lily.
Tapu Lily. So Tapu Lele is really good. It's a new card that was introduced in Guardians Rising. And basically what it does is that when you play it from your hand, you can search your deck for any supporter. So
Just like the Jirachi EX of old.
Yep.
However, with the new Tapu Lele, it's got, what is it, X-Ball, essentially?
Yep, so it does 20 damage for the amount of energy attached to both active Pokemon. While it doesn't have weakness or resistance, it's still a very good attack. And also, its GX move is for 1 Psychic. You heal 2 Pokemon on your bench for full health. But the really good thing is that it doesn't have any weakness. And
That's a nice touch.
And with the 1 retreat cost, it's not like Hoopa that gets stuck in the active very easily. It's really easy to move around. And with 170 HP, it's actually it's a little bit more tankier than Jirachi was.
Oh yeah, almost double.
So Dane went for a Max Elixir attached to the Gardevoir, and looks like that's just about all he's going to be doing this turn. So I believe Dane's going for the variation of Gardevoir deck where it uses he's using Brilliant Arrow for 3 energies. I believe it's might be Fairy Double Colorless.
And there seems to be a little bit of a glare right there.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Yep, so for Fairy Double Colorless, the attack does 30 damage times the amount of energy attached to all your Pokemon. So it's you spread your energy out as much as possible and you hit huge numbers. It's got the Spirit Link on the Gardevoir. Now it looks like for Jay's turn, all he did was Delinquent, discarding the Fairy Garden and making Dane discard 3 cards. So Dane Mega Evolved into the Brilliant Arrow Gardevoir, and he attached to the Xerneas. Now the Xerneas has an attack for 1 Fairy Energy. It's Geomancy. You search your deck for 2 energies and attach it to 2 Pokemon. Pretty
Not too
simple.
shabby.
Yeah, it's really good early game to get your energies out of your deck and onto your Pokemon. And in this scenario, it allows them to build energies very quickly. And it doesn't require them being in the discard like Yveltal is. So, you don't have to discard stuff. You just get it straight from your deck. Thins out your deck. It's a very good card. And I believe looks like Jay's just going with this Flare Grunt to discard the energy. Now I believe the Xerneas has a break. Well, it does have a break. I believe it's this similar attack to Brilliant Arrow, where I think it's 3 energies and I think it might be the same where it's 30 times the number of.
I think it's something similar to that.
Yeah,
I'm not too familiar with it. We might be able to see it. Yeah, he's definitely running one, so we might see it here shortly. Yeah, I know he's definitely thinking about it.
So if he grabs it, it looks like it's 2 or 3. But, it works well with the Brilliant Arrow deck because you're building energy no matter what. Because you have to have Brilliant Arrow be into effect. Might as well at the same time, have an alternate attacker that's only 1 prize. Let's see. Oops.
And Dane loves his full arts.
Oh, yeah.
Hands.
Yeah, Roanoke, he pimped his deck out. He got some nice cards, and they do look very nice. But yep, so it's Light Stream for 2 fairy energy. The attack does 20 damage times the amount of energy attached to all your Pokemon. So it's not as good as Brilliant Arrow because it's only 20 times, but it only requires 2 energies, and it's a 1 prize attacker. You have 5 energies attached throughout your, you have 2 on your active and 3 on your bench. You're already doing 100 damage. But as of right now, he has 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 energies on the bench. If he gets 1 more energy attached to that Xerneas, he will be doing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He'll be doing 180 damage. And Jay went for the Team Rocket handiwork, just trying to discard cards, but he hit double tail, so didn't discard anything. Goes for the magical ribbon.
Oh, while we're thinking about it, Jay wanted us to explain that he did not actually go for the punt at the end of the last match. He apparently both of them felt that was the only play he could make in order to avoid being just hammered away by Brian.
Yeah, with the hand that he had, he chose to sacrifice his EV. Now, he did try to attach a second energy per turn, and he knew that was a mistake. But definitely, after thinking about it some more, the play to sacrifice your EV so you could keep your Sylveon was a good play.
It's about the only move he could make in that situation, so...
And unfortunately, it didn't yield him good results anyways, but, that's just how it works out. Looks like he's going for a magical ribbon, It's just like the same strategy from last game. You discard energy, and that's just about it. You control your opponent. Now, in this matchup, he might run into issues. Because he only runs 2 Crushing Hammers, which means that for stuff that's on the bench, he can't touch the energies. He can use Flare Grunts to discard the active Pokemon, but it's only 1 per turn, because Dane probably doesn't run any double colorless. He might not. But he...
Now
Alright, so looks like Dane was able to get the knockout. He retreated his Xerneas Break into the Mega Gardevoir and Brilliant Arrow for a ridiculous amount of damage. And so you get the very quick game.
Much quicker than last time.
Yes, much quicker than last time.
It only took about 12 minutes to get through that. I think we might be able to see this round come to a nice end.
Yeah, we'll probably see an actual... We probably won't see a tie unless Jay's really able to slow Dane down. The problem is Dane's deck's incredibly fast. He runs both Max Elixirs and Mega Turbos. So he can recover energies and quickly search through his deck. With the Fairy Garns, he's allowed to free retreat, which means he's not discarding energies for retreating. This is a very good deck to deal with Sylveon. There's not much Jay can do to really stop this. I'm trying to think what Jay's strategy should be to deal with this deck. It should definitely be to, you want to maybe focus on that Hoopa.
Yeah, try and slow him down from the get-go.
You want to make sure that Hoopa stays in the active, which means not only, discarding the energies attached to it, but making sure that that Fairy Garden doesn't stick. Because for Dane, that's free retreat. And that means all he has to do is attach 1 energy to that Hoopa, and it's free.
Although, looking at his hand, he might not even need to play a Hoopa.
Yeah.
With like 3 Gardevoirs. Oh.
Ooh, and he starts the Hoopa.
Oh, that might be the Mega I was seeing.
Yep, those look like
okay.
2 Megas, a Xerneas Break, a Wally, and a Max Elixir.
I stand corrected.
If he had... Let's see what his... So Oh, that's a rough start for Dane.
But a fantastic start for Jordan down there.
Yeah. There is nothing Dane can do. He has to top deck everything. So Jay's able to get the energy out, and he's searching for that Sylveon. In all honesty, Dane might lose this. Because right now, he has no... Looks like we got double tails on the handiwork again. That is 2 times in a row for Jay. That is not a good thing for him. Jay does grab the Silent Lab, which turns off any of Dane's Hoopas, Lele's.
And that he just drew.
That he just topped
Oh, man. If he knew.
So, I think Dane doesn't have any stadiums in play or anything like that.
It's a very tough predicament for him.
Because even as it is right now, he can put down that Lele to, have something on the bench, and then he can max Elixir, but that's it. So he just chooses to hold.
Yeah, honestly, to see if he gets the double colorless, that was the smart move. Because he doesn't want to just waste a Lele if he did not have the
Jay's
to play.
Using red card to once again brings Dane's hand size down to 4, but he has the Delinquent in hand.
Oh, okay.
So Dane's going to draw his 4 cards.
Okay. I was going to say this could be...
And then...
Oh, he's just going to... Oh, there's the... Yeah, I don't know if that was actually the smartest thing to do.
So, for Jordan, I guess he wanted to keep the stadium in case he gets a Lele or something like that.
Oh, I'm just talking about the red card in general. Like, you want to reduce the hand, but where he was stuck there...
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it wasn't a bad play, but I think I would have personally let it ride. Because he was only a turn from... Well, no, he did 70. He wasn't too far off. If he was still dead drawing.
70. Why did he do 70? Why did he do 70?
I don't know.
Because he does 110 with Fairy Wind. I don't think Hoopa's resistant to Fairy. It might be. I don't really know. Haven't been much in many matchups against Fairy. But... So Dane was able to get the stuff out. I believe... I don't know, maybe holding on to that red card because he knew that Dane was stuck.
Oh, there. I think he...
No?
What? I don't understand. Was there a...
Didn't Fairy drop or anything.
But yeah, alright, let's...
Okay, so Dane puts down the Fairy Garden, attaches to his Gardevoir, and retreats into the Xerneas.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I have no idea.
Neither do I. I mean...
I must have missed something.
I guess so. But, so it looks like Dane's Ultra Balling. At this point, he hasn't used the supporter. He has 1 card in hand. So he's going to Lele. Searching his deck. I think you grab a Sycamore. Depends on what he has in his hand. Wasn't able to see what that last card is. How many Megas does he have in there?
Well, he started with 2, so at least 2.
I know he's discarded. So you went for the N. Okay, so yeah, you go for the N. You
Let's see, a Delinquent, a Puzzle.
Okay, so Dane does have the 1 Gardevoir in hand. I think he might only have 2. Because he discarded 1 earlier, and then I think that might be the last one. The other one might be priced. But he ends both of them down to 6. So Mega Turbo, another Lele, Fairy Garden, Energies. The Lele can be useful. You can get some good stuff out of it, but it looks like he's going to Ultra Ball it away. I'm guessing for a Shaman. or for the Mega Gardevoir. He has 2 cards in hand. Shane will get him 4. Or he's going... This is Xerneas break. So he's just going for another Gardevoir. Get more stuff set up. Because he doesn't really want to be putting the energy on the Hoopa or the Lele if he can help it.
And the Gardevoir, who does already have out, has 110 damage on it.
Yeah, that is...
Better to spread that around on things that aren't easy pickings with a Lysander.
The only problem with that play is just that now Dane doesn't have any draw support for next turn. He has an Energy, a Mega Turbo, and a Fairy Garden. So, okay, so he looks like he's just spreading his energy out. The Lele is definitely the better target of the 2. And Jordan, whatchamacallit, delinquents him. So now Dane has a 0-card hand.
Gotta hope for that top deck luck.
Yeah, I do not think the play was to go for that Gardevoir. Maybe holding it, maybe holding the Ultra Ball, keeping the Lele in hand just in case. Because now at this point, he's relying on top decks. Meanwhile, Jordan's able to get whatever he wants from his deck. Because none of Dane's Pokemon can attack this turn, other than the Geomancy, Xerneas. So all he can do is just add more energy. Meanwhile, Jordan can literally do whatever he wants. It looks like Dane was just able to get an energy, and then that's it. So he's just going to attach the energy and then Geomancy, putting...
And he's got 6 on his bench now. That's not...
He definitely has a lot of energy, that is for sure. If he's able to, get a Sycamore, and Sycamore into, a couple of Spirit Links and a Mega Gardevoir. Now he has gone through, I believe, 2 Fairy Gardens, because one was bumped.
I believe so. There's definitely one in there right now.
Because he just delinquent that one. I believe it's 2.
I believe you are correct.
So Jordan just goes for the discard of the energy with the Flare Grunt, puts down an Eevee, and then drops a Silent Lab. So for Dane, that really only affects his Shaman or his Lele, depending on whatever he top decks. So he grabs a Kookie, which, it's very good for him. It's an energy and I believe a Lysander.
Yes. So we can attach. He's waiting for Jordan to finish up his magical ribbon choices.
Now, definitely in a tournament setting, you want to be careful. Like, especially, not really, I wouldn't say a tournament setting, but, everyone here is, knows each other and is friends. So it's one of those things that, in here it's okay to do your turn while Jordan's looking through his stuff. But, in a tournament setting, if you're playing while he's searching, he can easily be like, oh, well, you just attach that one, let me just switch this out. You do have to be careful with that.
Yeah. In a friendly setting, do what you will.
Yeah.
But you definitely want to make sure they finish up and pick quickly so that you can get on with your turn, and so they can't make their decisions based on the plays you make in your turn.
Exactly.
Because that could heavily change what they go for. And make it more difficult for you.
It's technically, it's... You're not supposed to be,
Yeah, technically, you're not supposed to be doing that at all. But here, it's a friendly match. It's whatever. But definitely wouldn't recommend that in a larger
regionals
tournament
or anything like that.
Oh, yeah, definitely not there.
So Jay at least went for 1 crushing, missed it, but was able to pull out the Flare Grunt. So he was able to discard the energy attached to the Xerneas. And right now, Dane's bench, has a lot of energy.
His bench is ready. He just needs to get something into the active that can make good use of that.
So it looks like the card they did draw earlier was a Lysander. So he Lysanders up the Sylveon with no energy. But Jay did already see that coming, because he already has the energy. And so while he won't be able to use his other attacks, Jay will be able to... Looks like he went for the handiwork again and got double tails. He got snake eyes. So I think that's the third time against Dane that he is double tails on a handiwork.
Man.
I mean, imagine if those were heads. I think he's done it 3 times, which, you know,
that'd be
12 cards gone. Looks like he's just going to Magical Ribbon, grabs a DCE. Let's see what else. Grabs. Looks like he's eyeing a Puzzle of Time. I think that was Olympia. I'm not quite sure. It's hard to tell at this angle. But he definitely grabbed a DCE, which means that next turn he'll be able to attach to his Sylveon and either bump 2 of Dane's Pokemon or just attack for 110. Looks like he grabbed, I think that's a Max Potion? Delinquent? Something like that. So it looks like Dane just passed for his turn. Jay attaches the DCE to the active Sylveon.
So man, 3 puzzles.
Yeah, he has 3 puzzles. Now, I wonder if that means if one of them's prized. Because if one of them's prized, that's practically a... Oh, that's big. So,
he is keeping him locked down. That's what we said. He has to keep him contained in order to win this matchup here.
And that's why you see in the Sylveon deck, you actually run usually around 3 delinquents. So that you can do exactly this. He waited till Dane had 2 cards in hand and discarded the 2 of them. While it's not the optimal because you're not discarding 3, but if you look at Dane's hand, he had 2 Ultra Balls. Next turn, he would have drawn the card and then Ultra Ball for something. Meanwhile, now he's once again just relying on top decks, and that's 2 Ultra Balls gone.
You know, that was a very smart play.
Mm-hmm. Now,
definitely how you want to go about it.
Yeah. The delinquent chain is real gross. You just have to make sure you have the stadiums to keep up with it. Because, you know, generally the deck runs 4 stadiums. And if your opponent plays the stadiums, you can, you know, get it to a number where you can, you know, delinquent as many times as you want.
Mm-hmm. And definitely keeping those silent labs in play.
Yep. So,
oh my gosh.
Double tails again. This is impressive. Dane's, you know, luck right now. I don't know if it's good or bad, because...
I know it's a little bit of both. That's his only saving grace right now.
So, okay, so Jay decides to go with the attack to do 110, and it looks like he
top
decked the Sycamore.
There we go.
So,
let's see.
It's time.
Will this save him?
To be honest, he didn't even get that much.
He's got the break. Looks like an elixir. Not much beyond that.
Yeah, if he had gotten an energy, maybe an Ultra Ball, it would have been good. But right now, he can just attach a Spirit Link. He has a Max Elixir, but there's nothing really he wants to put the energy on. You don't want to put too much energy onto that damaged Gardevoir, because at the end of the day, it's gonna die. But it looks like he is going for the Max Elixir.
Oh, he does run a Shaman. Okay.
Yep, he runs a Shaman, and he whiffed on the Max Elixir. I mean, it's not really surprising considering how much energy's out and how much Jay has discarded.
True, but it was a nice hope.
Yeah, it's always good to get more energy out. Where he would have put it, I'm not quite sure. Maybe on the Hoopa. Oh, they fixed the damage. I don't know when they did it.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, I don't know what they were doing earlier.
Yeah. But we were right.
That's what matters. That's what matters.
So it looks like Jay goes for the Lysander on the Hoopa. I think at this point you kind of... I don't know if you want to stall him out. So what he's doing is he's bumping the Lele and the Gardevoir. So that was, I think, 5 energies back to Dane's hand. And so...
And with the Silent Lab still out, the Lele's not going to...
The Lele's not going to do anything. And, you know, even right now,
Oh, but he does have the Fairy Garden.
The Fairy Garden's big, so he would have to attach to the Hoopa, or the Hoopa. He could get rid of the Silent Lab, put down the Fairy Garden, retreat the Hoopa. It's a tough play.
Right,
okay, so he's just going to attach to the Gardevoir. I think he's just going to play a little passive. Get his board set up before he throws down that Fairy Garden, because that's probably his last one.
It may very well be.
Because if it's his last one, that's if he were to lose that means no more free retreat.
And potentially Silent Lab until he delinquents again.
Yeah,
exactly. He's stuck under that. No Shamans, no Lele's.
Yep. Now he does hit the max elixir, but his deck's pretty small.
It's starting to get pretty thin.
I think Jay has a fair amount more cards.
Oh, yes.
So VS Seekers. Now, what is he going to go for? Okay, I like the N.
Yes.
Right now,
because you don't want to discard all those energies.
You definitely don't want to discard those energies in this hand. Despite the fact that you had a ton of cards, it wasn't very good.
Yeah. This also replenishes his deck, bulks it up a little bit more.
Yeah, you don't need to have 5 energies in hand. It allows you to hit your max elixirs a little bit better, because I think he's only used 2 or 3. And it makes sure that, that's a lot better. Well, he does have a Sycamore, so another max elixir. If he doesn't,
there we go.
He's definitely going to hit it now.
All right, that's good. That's good.
I think the big problem right now is that Dane doesn't have that Mega Gardevoir. I think one of them's prized, and then he discarded one earlier. And I don't know how much recovery he runs. But it looks like he's just going to pass.
A third Sylveon right there.
Yeah, just, if Dane's able to get a Mega Gardevoir out and knocks out a Sylveon, he'll have, he'll be able to put one up that doesn't have a DC. Because that DC is pretty important right now. Because right now he can get knockouts on the Hoopa and the Gardevoir.
That'll be really good for Jordan. He's thinking about it.
So hopefully he doesn't play that Lele. I don't think he was planning on it, but... So he attaches to the Hoopa. Doesn't have a Fairy Garden. And Lysander's not all that useful in this situation. You can Lysander out the Sylveon with only 1 energy. And that prevents him from knocking out your Hoopa. But
beyond that,
it's not. So, yep. So he did a no-no there. He tried a Lele during the Silent Lab, which so it looks like that's what he's going to do. He's just going to Lysander out the Sylveon with only 1 energy. So Dane put himself in a bad situation.
And I'm pretty sure Jordan has some delinquents, at least a delinquent in his hand. I think he pulled one off on that last magical ribbon. So
he does have a delinquent.
He may be at the mercy of the delinquents again.
Yeah. He also does have in his hand an Olympia. If he wants to,
retreat, get that knockout.
Yeah, he can go. He can start being
pull
aggressive.
It back,
And he has Dane has 2 cards in hand, I think. So he's VS Seeker for the Flare Grunt, or the...
Oh, we got at least...
The handiwork.
1. Oh.
I think that's game. I think that's the only Gardevoir, the only Mega Gardevoir that Dane had left.
Man. A VS Seeker is nice. Alright. We'll find out. There's not a lot left in his deck, so depending on what he gets.
So it looks like he's just going to VS Seeker for an N, play the N. But, I mean, Jordan has, a lot of cards. Dane does not. And I think right now, in order for his Xerneas break to be useful, he would have to attach 2 energies to it and somehow get the Hoopa out of the active. He does have the Wally in hand. He hasn't attached for turn, so he can, choose to attach the Hoopa to retreat it, or he can attach it to one of his...
Yep, that's what he's going for.
He's going to retreat it. Yep, put up the Gardevoir. I think its second attack is 120.
Now, does he have that 3rd Mega? Because he could do the...
Well, right now, because he doesn't... He discarded the Spirit Links. Or, Jay Field Blowered them.
True.
So I believe it's it's 120, and you discard 1 energy attached to your active. So Jay goes for the Skull Grunt, discarding 1 energy, and Dane's in a tough situation. Okay, so Jay attaches to the Sylveon, retreats it into the one that has a fairy and a DCE. So right now he can go for 2 things. He can.
Oh, he did pull a stadium. It looked like. Oh, I know that was. I just saw it when he was shuffling. He didn't pull one. But there is another stadium in there.
There is another stadium.
So he's got that hope for him.
I think he VS Seekered. Yes. Somebody VS Seekered. Yes, it looks like Jay went for the Magical Ribbon, and then Dane just VS Seekered for an N. Dane was able to attach to the Gardevoir. Looks like he's just going to do 100, or is it 100? I think it's 120. But VS Seekered for. Oof. So yeah, he VS Seekered for the Handiwork, discarded 2 cards, and that is game.
I wonder if they know they have those nice big red dice for us to see that.
They are supposed to be using those, but you know, we'll tell the next group to do that. So that is game. I thought it was 4 rounds. Oh well. So right now, Dane, it's 1-1. Moving on to game 3. How much time do we have left?
We have right at 15 minutes.
Right at 15. So
they've been doing good, keeping the pace. Yeah. So Dane needs to hope that he does not get stalled like that again.
Yes.
That was just horrible for him.
Yeah.
And then Jordan needs to hope he can do that again. Just get that control down on him. Because that's exactly what we said you need to play in this matchup. Is just slow that deck down so that you can just keep control of them.
Yep. The huge part was, Dane not having that Mega Gardevoir. Having one of them prized and discarding one of them meant that, and I believe he only plays 3. Either that or he had 2 prized. Basically, he only had 2 in his deck, and, he can't hit those big numbers. He can do the 120 discarding 1 energy, but in this matchup, you don't want to be discarding energy for no reason. Looks like Dane's gonna. Oh, so Jordan was able to get an EV off of his first go through, so that's a surprise. Meanwhile, Dane's gonna have to mulligan. No, if Jay's able to, just sit back, make Dane have to waste his resources like he did last game, then Jay could pull this off. Dane, on the other hand, only really needs to, not have bad luck. I guess it's like, so it looks like Jay attaches, going to go for the Sylveon. I did see that Dane had a Hoopa in hand, which means he will be able to grab 3 EXs. It's really nice not having that Hoopa start for Dane. Dane has started Hoopa twice, and he only runs 1.
Wait, why did he draw a card?
He drew the card for his mulligan.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Threw me for a loop there.
Yeah, they didn't really do that correctly, but, all's well that ends well. I wonder what's in Jay's hand.
Got a switch.
So a Hex Maniac. So it's going to prevent Dane from using his Hoopa turn 1. Which will slow him down a little bit, but, it's not the end of the world. He still has other things to do in his hand. He does have that Fairy Garden in hand.
He's considering that Sycamore. Is it worth it?
So
he's going for it. Because he needs to win this.
Yeah, he needs to.
If he wants to win this championship, he needs to win this.
Yeah, I do not believe 15 minutes is enough for a long match. 15 minutes is a very short time for one match. While it is possible, it's, Dane needs to go fast. And so, getting rid of some of those resources like that Hoopa is an okay thing to do. He was able to hit the Max Elixir, attaching to his Gardevoir. The one in the active still doesn't have anything. let's see. He's got, I believe, a Mega Turbo, VS Seeker, a couple other things. Another Sycamore.
Oh, and another Hex.
Turn 2 Hex. I mean, I think right now, since Dane was able to get rid of, like, Dane discarded the Hoopa.
Oh, and so it's not going to matter what he gets on the magical ribbon.
Yeah.
Saves them a little bit of time.
Yep, so Dane's able to end, making sure that Jay's not able to, get his, handiworks and flare grunts, or another VS Seeker just to hex him again.
That was not the start he wanted, I'm sure, but...
I mean, Dane's in a decent situation, depending on what he gets off of this hand. So he gets the energy so he can start doing... He at least attached to the active, so that's what he's going to do. Does not look like he has... Yeah, he doesn't have a Fairy Guard, so he won't be able to retreat this turn, because I believe Gardevoir has a 2 retreat cost. So he's just going to max Elixir, getting more energy out. Getting ready to do tons of damage.
Now, I think I'd hold on to the Spirit Link, just knowing all the field blowers that are out there. Wait until next turn, see if he can pull that play before he does the Sycamore.
Yep. The field blower is a card that, before, after Xerosic and... Well, not Xerosic. Starling Megaphone was taken out of the format. You didn't really have to worry about attaching your tools. You could just attach them and not really worry too much.
Right, and that...
But now
Garbodor loved that.
Yeah. So now, but it's a very, basically all decks are going to be running at least one field blower. And stuff like the Gardevoir...
Now here, I don't know if this affected his card choices. I didn't really see what his first card was. But he went ahead and started his turn and attached that. Had he not done that, Jay maybe would have grabbed a field blower. That could have been the case. I don't know if he did or not, or if that even affected if he played with that mentality. But that's an example of a situation where you don't want to play your turn until your opponent draws the cards that they want, because that could easily change that up. So although now it doesn't really matter with the Mega, but just something to keep in mind.
So he does Ultra Ball into the Mega Gardevoir. He only has 2 energies attached, but it looks like he might have a Mega Turbo in hand. Yep,
he does. There we go.
So he does have enough energy to attack. Right now he's going to be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, and the Shaman.
Shaman for 4. Now he can't retreat unless he were to find a Fairy Garden, but...
and just end the turn there, all right.
So his Shaman...
But he has his Megas out. That's important.
His Shaman went to the discard pile. Wait.
What?
I don't know why he discarded the Shaman.
I don't think he realizes he discarded the Shaman.
I don't think he did either. But Jay did Field Blower, getting rid of the... I think it was just the Spirit Link. But Dane did end his turn by putting on that other Mega Gardevoir.
That Mega, yeah.
So that Mega Gardevoir, forget what the attack is called.
Well,
it's 110 plus every...
he has that... Although, Lysandering that up and knocking it out probably wouldn't be his best choice, because that would give Dane the opportunity to pull up that fully loaded Mega Gardevoir. I can't talk. So, probably wouldn't be his choice anyway, but I hope they know... Hope they remember about that Shaman, because it's gone, it's buried now.
Okay, so looks like... Oh, that's a very good play by Jay. So he Lysandered up the Xerneas, and then... So that's... Now the Field Blower makes sense.
Yeah, and actually, now that Shaman is incredibly relevant... Oh, no, okay.
It's not... it would still be on the bench.
If he... be on the bench, if he could...
Yeah, but so... Jay was able to send both the Mega Gardevoirs back, and since neither of them had a Spirit Link attached to them, Dane's going to have to pass his... he's going to have to end his turn by evolving them. Or what it looks like he might be doing is instead going for a... kind of just putting energies on the Gardevoirs and evolving into a Xerneas Break.
That could be his alternative.
Yeah, because he attached to the Xerneas for this turn. But the question is, what else is he going to do? It looks like he had a Sycamore in hand. You don't want to Sycamore that away.
That's a lot of resources.
Yeah, it's a lot of energies, a lot of Mega Gardevoirs. So it looks like he's going to Lysander up the Eevee with no energy or anything, but Jay does have 2 energies in hand, so it's nothing crazy. And then he's just going to Geomancy, attaching 2 energies to his Gardevoirs. Looks like he's looking through his deck to see what he has left. You know, trying to decide, you know...
Yep, that's what he wants to do. But he can't get the energy evolution, but he knew that.
Yep. Because, I mean, if... That's one of the great things about the Sylveon deck, is Dane can knock out that Eevee, he takes 1 prize card. Oh, darn. Like, Jay still has the one on the bench with the energies attached, so he's in a perfectly fine situation. And meanwhile, Dane's going to have to, you know, it makes his ends not as impactful as they would be. And so, Jay goes for Eevee's attack, which is, who knows what it's called, but it's, for 1 energy, you flip a coin, and if heads, you draw a card. Plain simple. Allows him to, you know, get a free card. Dane's I think he's gonna go for the Xerneas Break.
That would be a smart play to do. Yep. All right, there he goes.
So it looks like at the end of his turn, or when he was Geomancing, he also looked for that Xerneas Break to make sure that was in there.
Yes.
So now
which is an incredibly smart thing to do. You always want to check your deck, see what resources are prized, see what you actually have to work with.
Yes.
Whenever you can.
Now with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 energies attached.
7.
He's going to be doing 140 damage, which, while is very good for Dane, Jay runs max elixirs. It's going to be, you know, he's going to have to find more damage. And then Jay goes for the Flare Grunt, discarding 1 energy.
And now they are just at 5 minutes. So hopefully one of them can end this quickly. Otherwise it's going to end in another tie.
Yeah, it might be another tie.
That second game took much longer than their first game.
Yes.
I think that first one only took about 10, 12 minutes tops. So they are definitely running down the clock.
Yep, looks like Jay did grab the red card. He might be going for the red card to link win combo, or he might just be going just to, you know, keep Dane's hand size small. Dane goes for the Lily, drawing up to 6 cards. Oof. Looks like he drew a lot of supporters. That's just about it. Now he does have enough energies to attack, and he has an energy in hand. So he's still doing. Yeah, so he's just.
Jay needs to get something.
He's doing the 140. I think Jay. So he's red carding.
All right, that's smart.
Now hopefully he does have a max. He should have a max potion in hand.
All right.
So he's going for the energy discard.
He did get it, all right.
So he was able... Okay. So you definitely take it off of the active Xerneas. Yep.
Let's see, what does he have?
So, okay, that's a very good play. So now, you know, Dane doesn't have any more energies in hand. He can't attack. And, yep, max
There's
potion.
the max potion, okay.
All right, good. I was about to say, if Jay did not have a max potion, that'd be real bad.
All right, now he's playing the stall game.
Yeah.
But he's not going to have time to finish this, I don't think.
I think at this point, Jay's kind of just going for the tie. I don't think Jay can really do anything.
I don't know if they know how much time they have left, but I'm certain they know it's getting close to the end.
Yeah. So I think at this point, you know, it's just... Jay's just got to stall, you know, make sure he doesn't lose. Because, I mean... Ooh! Excuse me? Okay.
That's okay.
He attached a Mega Gardevoir as a tool.
All right.
So let's see. So Dane has only 1 energy on the Xerneas, and I believe it's a 2 retreat cost. So he's kind of stuck there.
Now, did he attach?
He did not attach for this turn. So he could attach to the Xerneas and discard. And he could retreat, discarding the 2, but then he would only be doing 150 damage. If he were to...
He's definitely doing some math in his head over there.
Yeah.
It's 2 minutes remaining.
I think
Dane doesn't have a lot of time left. Oh, because he's trying to count, because he'll lose 2 energies on that attack.
Yep.
If he retreats, so... Alright, let's see. Does he have... There's the max potion.
So that was a good top deck for Jay. Double puzzle.
Ooh, he's going for it.
So he's only doing one right now. He wants to see what he gets.
All right, there it is. All right, that's one.
Now, do you want to go just try to get both of the... Oh, that's really bad. That is
really rough for him. With a minute and a half left, let's see. Oh, and another max potion?
Yeah, with another max potion in hand, Dane will have to one-shot the Sylveon.
Which, I don't know if we're going to be able to see this.
Yeah. That's a good play.
Oh. Getting rid of the energy. This might end in a tie.
Yep. Because right now, Dane doesn't have any... With the Silent Lab, he can't use the Lele in hand. He only has about 8 cards. Has a Lysander. A couple other things. But I just don't think there's much he can do. He can't get that Xerneas out of the active as it is right now. And even if he were to get out of the active, Jay would just max potion next turn.
I mean, to be fair, he doesn't know he has another max potion in there.
No, yeah.
And that's just a really good hand, but...
But then again, when it comes to Sylveon, you can just kind of assume he does.
True.
Because, he's searching 3 cards of his choice every turn if he doesn't do damage.
Oh, wow, and Dane only has 2 cards left, so Jay might win this. I did not notice how thin Dane's deck is. He may very well finish this in the +2, or in the +3.
So he attached...
He's got the Megas ready. He just needs to get them out.
So he has 6 energies attached.
Uh-oh. Oh. 1. Oh.
I think it was double tails.
Oh, that was a 3, so not a 2.
So that
All right, and their time is right now.
You want to go tell him?
I'll do this. I'll go let them know.
So right now they're at so Dane's at turn 0 for Pokemon. Just for those who don't know, the way overtime works is whoever when time is called, whoever's turn it is turn 0. Then you have 3 turns, and if no one wins in that time, it results in a tie. And as it is right now, I think the only way Dane can win is by going for the just knocking out that Sylveon in one turn. But the question is, can he do it? With 1 card remaining in deck, he has 5 prizes, so who knows what those are. In his hand, he's got a Sycamore, a Gardevoir, an Energy. So right now, what Dane really needs is that Fairy Garden. But he doesn't have it in hand. And even if he were, he would have... No, if he were to have a Fairy Garden, he would win. And I think...
And there's no way for him to win.
Oh.
And...
For the memes.
That was a 4?
Yeah.
And that was the Fairy Garden.
So the Fairy Garden. So if Dane had drawn that card, he would have won that match.
Just, if they were shuffled the other... Oh my gosh.
Because he would have had 7 cards, or 7 energies out, with the Fairy Garden retreating the Xerneas, keeping the energy, and he would have done 210.
That would have been enough. That would have done it.
Yep.
Oh, that would have been... Attach, Sycamore, draw the last card, switch it. That would have probably won him.
I don't know if he had the supporter for that turn.
I don't know. Yeah. They were pointing to it. I'm assuming he could have played that.
He could have.
So. Oh my gosh, those prizes. Oh my gosh.
3 energies and 2 VS Seekers.
All right. Well, oh my gosh.
That was nuts.
That was ridiculous.
I mean, he just needed to have, better luck, and he would have drawn that Fairy Garden, and he would have won.
Just 1 card away.
Yeah, it's real rough. He had 2 games in which he had to dump a lot of resources. I remember, I think it was either turn 1 or turn 2. He had to dump a Fairy Garden.
He had dumped the Fairy Garden. He dumped the Hoopa. It was just. It's what he had to do. That wasn't a.
Oh no! It's when you're going up against Sylveon. One of your main strategies is just knocking out when they only have 1 active, or just the 1 active and nothing on the bench. You just want to go for that knockout as quickly as possible, because otherwise they just they have 3 Sylveons out and 4 max potions in their deck. They're just gonna heal it, retreat.
It's just a big wall. You can't get around it.
Yeah. Meanwhile, they're discarding your energy. They're discarding your cards. It makes it very difficult to recover for something like that. So yeah, Dane just got really unlucky with that, and so that ends round 3, which is our last round.
I believe so. We're going to go down, check out just the end of the match, check out the winners.
Mm-hmm.
We might come back, give a few closing thoughts, just talk about what we enjoyed watching today, which we did get to see a lot of Sylveon, which was nice, seeing that,
lot of Sylveon,
how that plays, which I think it'll be a big deck in the future, so it was nice to get to see that play.
Yep.
So we'll be back here in just a few more minutes, and we'll have some closing thoughts.
All right, stay tuned.
All right, so here for our closing thoughts. Man,
yep.
We're just having a time today.
So the winner overall was Jay Blanks with his Sylveon deck. Second place was Brian Streichel with his
other Sylveon
deck. Third, I believe, was Dane.
It was Dane, and then in fourth we had Chris McKinney.
Yep, Chris McKinney, who wasn't on the stream, but he ran a Sylveon Espeon mix.
That's a fun little EV deck.
Yep. So one thing I've definitely now we only had 10 people, so not a huge number, but even still, Sylveon seems like a really strong contender for one of the best decks.
You've seen what it can do. It can come back. It can shut down these really fast decks that just dominate and keep control, and then just wear them down until they deck out.
Yep. And excluding the mirror matchup, you still can get 3 games.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I saw with Quad Lapras in the last before Guardians Rising came out was that Quad Lapras, because you only just drew 3 cards, you often found yourself, you wouldn't get exactly what you wanted, and so games would sometimes last longer. So there's definitely this little, I think Sylveon's a lot better as a control deck than Quad Lapras, because just being able to choose 3 cards is very important.
That's definitely a very well liked.
Yeah. One thing that did not see today, there's a couple other popular decks that came out of Guardians Rising. There's Garbodor, which is rumored to be one of the best cards that came out of Guardians Rising.
And that Trashalanche is really nice.
Trashalanche is really nice. Another thing that I personally run, but since commentating didn't play, there's Ninetales. Alolan Ninetales, which is a good deck. I think it only gets better as time goes on, because stuff like the new Coco promo really works well with it.
Oh yeah.
We didn't see any Tapu Koko GXs. Now we had a small pool to take data from, but I think right now the top contender right now is Sylveon. Now the question is, how does stuff from the past rotations, your Turbo Darks, your Mega Mewtwo's,
those Decidueyes,
how do they fit into this format? Because Mega Mewtwo I don't think is going to last. Garbodor has weakness on it, so it's just going to it's going to take care of it really easy. I don't think any Turbo deck is going to do all that well if Garbodor is prevalent. Because with Turbo decks, you always run Max Elixirs, a lot of items.
Oh,
and
yes.
Garbodor loves when you spend time on items. So
I think those Decidueye Plumes, where they don't run a lot of items because of the item lock they inflict on the whole board, I think they might be a strong contender against Garbodor, but
they could survive. But then you run to how does that matchup work with Sylveon? It's 2 walls. Decidueye maybe doing 20 to 60 damage per turn depending on the number of Decidueyes. But there's Max Potions. There's Hex Maniacs. There's it's going to be interesting moving on forward, seeing how these decks interact. A couple of cards that, let's see, what the only big card that's come out since Guardians Rising is that Tapu Koko promo. That's just going to make decks like Ninetales better. I don't know how it's going to deal with other decks. I saw a lot of people running it with the Ninetales. Another deck that has resurfaced is Greninja.
Oh,
Today
yes.
there was 2 Greninjas. There was just a flat-out Greninja and then a Greninja Golduck. Greninja it's come back. Its main issue was the Garbotoxin Garbodor. And now with Field Blower, you get rid of that item. You now have
a lot of its big enemies are out of the way. You can deal with them much more easily than you could before. Just a lot to work with. Aqua Patch is probably a nice little addition to them. I don't know if you'd play it too much with that deck, but
it's definitely an option. This is literally the second day it's been legal.
Yeah, so
and there's already a couple clear contenders, but you really never know. People kind of underestimated Decidueye, and look how it turned out.
Oh yeah.
People greatly underestimated Quad Lapras.
Oh yeah, I know. I was like, oh, this is just a this is funny.
I'll be perfectly honest. I pulled 2 of my first booster box. I was like, psh, yeah, traded them off. And I regretted it, though now I'm my Sylveon, so we're good. So thank you all for watching the stream. We at Four Horsemen we do have Friday Night Pokemon every Friday at 6:30. Come down. It's a $5 tournament. Everyone gets prizes. We do tickets and stuff like that, and promo cards. On Saturdays we do have our Pokemon League, which I believe starts at noon.
I think that's the official start time, although you might find a few of us around earlier than that.
Yep.
It's just kind of an open environment, friendly for all ages, just for people to get into the game, learn about the game, and just get better at playing, trade some cards. It's a fun environment.
Fridays are definitely, like, if you want to be, competitive, if you want to, play in a tournament a week, then Friday Night Pokemon is the way to go. It's a really good opportunity to see the meta, see, what people are building, what people are playing. It's a lot of fun, and you get free stuff.
Yeah, so it's a great time both times. And apologies for the technical difficulties earlier. Hopefully next time we do this we can get those kinks worked out, and thanks for bearing with us.
All right, thank you very much. See you guys later.